Welcome to the Lincoln Parish Museum and Historical Society's Sounds Like Edison with Lawrence Gibbs and Museum Director Rick Godley. Each episode, Lawrence Gibbs will choose a song from the Lincoln Parish Museum's Edison collection of records, share some historical facts and information, as well as play each record on the original 1912 Edison Phonograph in the parlor of the Lincoln Parish Museum. Now sit back and enjoy the sounds from our time machine, a 1912 Edison A-250 Model Phonograph. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rick Godley, Director of the Lincoln Parish Museum and Historical Society. We're in the parlor of the Lincoln Parish Museum for episode number 2 of Sounds Like Edison with Lawrence Gibbs. And we are going to feature a record on a discovery that we talked about in the first episode of this Thomas Edison 1912 phonograph. And Lawrence, you've chosen this song, Ave Maria, for our second song. Right. And tell us some reasons behind that.
Well, it is the Christmas season. Even today, you hear Ave Maria. Barbra Streisand had a beautiful version of it. Carpenters, all of that in their Christmas albums. It's used a lot. I love Karen Carpenter's version of this. But in 1919, Edison decided to show off his invention to the masses in New York. And so he rents Carnegie Hall for a night, and he says, I will prove to you the quality of this disc compared to the others on the market. And so he worked it out for the opera singer from the Metropolitan Opera to come in, and the recording they had made a few months earlier in 1919, they reproduced this toward the end of the year, and he had what's called tone tests. And it was like Memorex or live, right. Whatever. And so they would have a setting, and there was a way that it was arranged where the auditorium was darkened, and there were 2 places on the stage. One was the machine, the Edison Phonograph, and the other was set up where the real performers would be. And he was so brave as to put them side by side. The lights went down, and the performances, one started, you never know which one did, and when the lights came back up, the Edison was the only thing on the stage at that time, and it got a standing ovation.
Now, was that played on the A-250?
Yes.
So this
exact model was used. It was the laboratory model that Edison had, and he would bring it down there and they would set it up. It had to perform its very best. But the release of this disc was probably the most sold. It was the most popular of the Edison discs, so I can see why it's here. This one has been played a good bit.
And we'll hear that.
But it is amazing. The musical part of it is 110 years old. It's the way that singing happened during that time. Edison did not like the over-the-top vocalists. He didn't like the wobble in their voices and stuff, but he did love this particular Marie Rappold, and she was not necessarily the biggest star of the Metropolitan. She was from 1905 to 1920 in their service, and was a very, very fine vocalist. I think she did 198 performances of various operas and things. But he compared, he also added to her a violinist, Albert Spaulding was one of the leading violinists in the area, and then the pianist Robert Gaylor that did a lot of work with his studio and many recordings. And so they did a trio version with piano, violin, and soprano voice.
Well, we're going to hear this right now, Ave Maria, on the Edison Phonograph. And just to remind people, if this is their first episode, No electricity is
No.
used in this machine, nor even in the recording of it.
No, it was all acoustically done with spring motors and whatever they had. It was kind of amazing when you think that 110 years later, we can actually listen to it
I know, it's so...
in its form, its
Oh yeah,
original form.
and to me, I'm just getting thrilled that music is returning to the museum.
Absolutely. I was stunned to find this. This was a great discovery for me personally.
Sure. So let's hear Ave
right.
Maria.
Very good. Get her up to speed.
Sounds
here.
like Edison.
It's very much like cueing a modern turntable. Let's see if we can get her. Here we go. Amazing.
Ave Maria, sounds like Edison. We're in the parlor at the Lincoln Parish Museum and Historical Society. Lawrence Gibbs, I'm Rick Godley. The thing about that, Lawrence, as I'm sitting here we are in the year 2022. By way of reminder for those that are watching it, the disc, 1921, the machine, 1912. So talk about being transported and transcended through time. I mean, I don't know what people thought or felt as they watched this, but I mean, truly a magical, mystical moment.
I mean to tell you. And it's beautifully performed. It's being able to step back in time almost. And so...
or to bring time forward.
I've noticed that some things on YouTube, you find concerts. And maybe we can eventually do a concert of things where you can actually be an experience. And I could just have a session, you know.
Sure.
So there's a lot of possibilities for the use of the Edison.
I can't wait, and that's why my hashtag is Let's Create a Remarkable Future. The second renaissance of this house museum, built in 1886, and it's just so much potential, so much opportunity. One other thought before we go. Lawrence chose this one out of 160 discs for our second one, as way of maybe, because this is the Christmas season for those that may be watching this in a month or two or 5 years from now. Christmas wasn't what it was or is back then. So it's not like there was Brenda Lee and Christmas music in the 19-teens.
There were virtually no recordings of what we know as Christmas.
Radio. It's not like this got radio airplay. The music came direct from the manufacturer to homes like this.
And so that was, out of all these discs, it's the only one I could find that was even associated with a holiday of any kind. They have tons of great, we'll have to do a Charleston session.
All right.
Because in the 1920s, that's when the Charleston was the rage. And they must have had a little fun around here.
Sure.
During that time, from what I can tell.
And we plan on having some fun going forward. So we solicit your ideas, recommendations. We covet your support. It's a nonprofit organization, so led to So Invest, to help us grow for another centennial or sesquicentennial. So we are ripe and poised to create a remarkable future. Sounds like Edison with Lawrence Gibbs. I'm Rick Godley. Thank you so much for watching. Feedback is always welcome. Until our next episode, we'll see you.
Thank you for watching the Lincoln Parish Museum and Historical Society's Sounds Like Edison with Lawrence Gibbs and Museum Director Rick Godley. Keep in mind, we're a nonprofit organization and we welcome your ideas, suggestions, as well as financial support to sustain our efforts to create a remarkable future as we embark on our second renaissance. Our address is 609 North Vienna Street, Ruston, Louisiana, 71270. Kindly follow us on Facebook to keep connected for future events, exhibits, and educational opportunities about Lincoln Parish. Sounds Like Edison is a Godly Works production.